Right. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm sorry I took a break. I was pretty ill, I had to apply for extenuating circumstances, which essentially means that I was too ill to complete my uni work. I had about a 3-week flare-up. I've just found a hole in my gloves, but I had a 3-week flare-up and I was kind of dead. I'm back. My deadline is out of the way, although I've got 2 new ones coming up, which is absolutely lovely. So I've never done this kind of video before, obviously. If you look back on my channel, I've never done anything like it, which is new and exciting. The reason why I'm doing this video is because my very dear friend, the moon of my life, my sun and stars, my Beirito, has started a YouTube channel. Her first video is a random number generator, picks out her TBR list or her to be read list. So if that's your kind of video, please go and show her some love and let her know that I am taking her on a very cute date once lockdown eases. Oh, and I'll leave the links to her video and her channel in the description. Jo chose, I can't remember how many books, but it was quite a few. However, I am a full-time student in the final year of my degree, which essentially means that I have no time. Therefore, I am going to be choosing my reading list for 2021 as a whole instead of just one particular month or half of the year. So I have a lot of books. You obviously can't see them, but I have 4 bookshelves, and then I have a shelf going the whole way around my room with loads more books on it. So I have hundreds, because that's my life. So I have books ranging from photography to philosophy, art books, exhibition catalogues, history books, novels, manga, comics, biographies, game guides, pretty much anything you can think of. I probably have something related to it. And I've got a hell of a lot of unread books too. Though I did actually join a book club in my area, but then the pandemic happened, so I haven't been able to do that, which is really sad. So I'm mainly going to be choosing unread books, and I'm not going to narrow it down to one particular genre or type. I'm also going to throw in some manga that I've read before, because I can. Oh, and I'm not going to include any books that I'm currently reading for university or anything like that. Please let me know what your reading list 2021 is if you would like to share. If I do select any graphic novels or manga or anything like that, I'm going to classify it as the whole series or all that I have, instead of just reading, volume 3 of Isengast and volume 7 of Blue Exorcist. It makes it a lot easier, So I'm basically going to decide my 2021 to be read list by drawing names from a hat, or in my case, this little mug, which I got for Christmas, has all my names in. My aim is to read around 15 books in 2021, aside from the numerous texts and books that I have to read for university. Obviously, I would have liked to add more, but I'm basically not going to have any time to read during term time, anything that isn't academic. So this is going to be sort of during breaks and during the summer holidays. Earlier, I went through my library and I selected 30 or so books and wrote down their titles and put them in here. And I'm going to draw their names and see what they are and all that. So I'm going to draw their names, grab the books from my shelves, and off we go. Currently I have my cat sleeping next to me. Yeah. I'm not going to look while I'm doing this, because what have we got? The Great Gatsby. Alright, off I go. Alright, so number 1 is The Great Gatsby. This copy was actually my great aunt's, and she died over a year ago, so it'll be nice to kind of read this. Right. You are now the guardian of the books, Pudge. Second one is... okay. The second one, you can't see that, but that's One Punch Man. Because I can. It is up there. I have volumes 1 to 21. I am not getting that down because I can't be bothered. And because it's up there. Okay. Second one is... oh, what? I picked up 2. Whoops. The Radium Girls. Number 2 is The Radium Girls, which, if you don't know, was kind of about these women who used to paint the faces of clocks with radium. And it was cool, it was luminous, it was useful. However, Radium's poisonous. So it affected them really badly. Like, it would disintegrate their jaws and things like that. So it's going to be an interesting book, I think. Are you leaving me? Oh no, you're still the guardian of the books. Okay, good guardian. Right, next one. Let's dig around, shall we? Alright, we have The Woman in Black. You literally can't read what I've read because of my light, but hey ho. She keeps on looking for me after I get up. She's like, where have you gone? I'm here, Budge. I mean, if you like horror films or thrillers or anything like that, you've probably seen this. A puff of dust just came off that, which tells you how long I've had this. Arthur Kipps, a junior solicitor, is summoned to attend the funeral of Mrs. Alice Drablow, the sole inhabitant of Eel March House. The house stands at the end of a causeway, wreathed in fog and mystery, but it is not until he glimpses a wasted young woman dressed all in black at the funeral that a creeping sense of unease begins to take hold, a feeling deepened by the reluctance of local talk of a woman in black and her terrible purpose. So that's my number 3. 4. One Punch Man. That was... I'm gonna lose track of things. Right, so this is 5 we're drawing now. Blade Runner. These little pieces of paper are ending up absolutely fucking everywhere. Blade Runner, also known as Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Which is a very good question. Do you think that androids dream of electric sheep? Please leave your answer down below. We all know what Blade Runner is about, so I'm not going to read that out. Like, if you don't know what Blade Runner is about, where have you been? You're quite happy. She loves it when I film because I just sit on the bed and she's like, oh yay, you're sitting here with me. Yay. Okay, I'll take that. That's Watchmen, by the way. That was Watchmen. You know, the big version. But again, a lot of the things I seem to be picking out are kind of like classics, which I'm quite happy. Well, classic in a relative term, not exactly the Iliad and the Odyssey or Ovid's Metamorphosis, but it's still kind of classics in their own regard. It's kind of along the same vein as, you know, The Boys, that kind of stuff. But again, everybody should know what this is. Alright, so we're on to 7 now. And 7 is... oh boy. Oh, fuck me, I need to get that out now. That's 7 are the Hellboy comics, or graphic novels, whichever way you want to refer to them. So I'm about to go and pick those up, and it's going to be heavy. So, 7 was the Hellboy comics, and I've got a few. I've got The Wild Hunt, which always makes me think of Witcher, and is kind of apt considering that these were behind my Gwent set. You know, like physical IRL Gwent. Strange Places. Conquer a Worm. The Right Hand of Doom. The Chained Coffin and Others. And Wake the Devil. And finally, Seed of Destruction, which will be the first one I'm starting on, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've read these, okay? But I do love the art style. I mean, it's really gorgeous. Eaters of the Dead. Right, I'll be back in a second. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but there's this film called The 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas, and that was based on Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton, the guy who wrote Jurassic Park. And, like, that was such a good film. I really like that film. And, like, the fire snake coming... It's a good film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's not terribly... I don't find it scary. I don't find films scary. Essentially, because I know that quite a few people will not have heard of this in comparison to kind of like Hellboy and Watchmen and The Great Gatsby, so I'm going to read this out for you. In 922 AD, Ibn Fadlan, the representative of the ruler of Baghdad, city of peace, crosses the Caspian Sea and journeys up to the village of Volga on a mission to the king of... oh boy. Sakaliba, I believe. Before he arrives, he meets with Balewulf, a powerful Viking chieftain who is summoned by his besieged relatives to the north. Balewulf must return to Scandinavia and save his countrymen and family from the monsters of the mist. So it's kind of along the kind of vein of Beowulf, but it's a really good film and I've wanted to read this for ages. So I'm very hyped to be able to read this. Queen's Gambit. You've probably heard about this, it's kind of blown up on Netflix, but it's essentially about a young chess prodigy, and I've always liked chess. I don't think I've mentioned this before. I was in a chess club when I was younger in prep school, so I don't really play it much anymore. I'm really looking forward to reading this because I really loved the TV series, and especially considering that there aren't many shows about chess. And I like watching chess matches. Like Magnus Carlsen's chess matches when he plays like multiple people at a time is amazing. But I really like chess. Genghis Khan. So this is Genghis Khan, and I bought this ages ago and I haven't been able to read it because I've always been busy. But I'm a massive history buff. Like, I've got so many books on ancient civilizations and more modern civilizations, and just from here I can see Mongolian books, one on Attila, Chinese art, the Mayan civilization, Byzantium. This is about like Genghis Khan, and if you've heard of Genghis Khan, if you haven't, like, just Google him. He's one of the greatest conquerors in the world, and like the Mongolian Empire stretched so fucking far. I think they were the first outsiders to ever conquer China as well. But yeah, I bought this in 2017 and I still haven't gotten around to reading it because I've always been... I mean, the extent of the Mongol Empire is that. It's insane, but I'm very hyped to be able to read this. Aren't we, Pudge? Oppenheimer and the Atomic Story. I'm gonna be honest, you might have realised, but I'm pretty short. So I'm 5'2.5" because half-inch always counts. So if you were above 5'3" or 5'4", you're really tall to me, and you're like up there. However, the shells that I mentioned previously that are up there at like the 6 foot height, they're probably just below. So some of these are going to be really annoying to reach, and this is one that's right up there. I'm literally like, sometimes I have to put on heels and platforms just to reach shit up there. Why do I have shelves that high? Because I can. I used to date someone who was 6'5" and I felt like a hobbit. So the TLDR is, if you're above 5'4", you're really tall to me. Or 5'4" and above, you know. But I've read parts of this book, but I've never read it fully. But it's about Oppenheimer. If you don't know who Oppenheimer is, he's one of the men who developed the Manhattan Project, which was essentially, you know, the atomic bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This one specifically this copy comes from a US Air Force base. This book is kind of like his journey towards that. If you've ever heard the phrase, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds," Oppenheimer is the one who famously said that. But yeah, I think I remember he really regretted actually making the atomic bomb. Yeah, that was him. I've read like the first bit because I used to read this while I was playing Civ 5 because turns can take a while. But I think this is like I've got another book on Oppenheimer as well because that's my life. But this copy actually comes from a US Air Force base. It's got the little thing in the US Air Force base stamp, but yeah, I've got another book on Oppenheimer which I may read in conjunction with this one, which would make sense, which is impromptu last minute addition to my reading list is this, which is Peter Goodchild's J. Robert Oppenheimer Shatterer of Worlds. I just found my Goth Christmas cards. Like, why the fuck were they in here? I was looking for these during Christmas so I could send out my Goth Christmas cards, but I couldn't find them. And now I found them, and it's fucking March. I am literally recording this on the 1st of March. 3 months too late. Goodbye. But yeah, I think I'd like to kind of read this one in conjunction with the other one to kind of get a better picture, because this one was published in 1980, and this one 1953 apparently. I feel like reading them together could work quite well, so I'm going to count that as one. So now we're on to 12, I think. Okay. Number 12 It's the H.G. Wells collection. So I've got the H.G. Wells collection, or at least my copy of it, and it's short stories by him. And this book is from 1933. It's old as shit. So old, but still in such good condition. And what I find particularly fascinating about it is that it's from Birmingham, and it's the Waverley Secondary School Prize for Handicraft, awarded to S. Johnson in July 1933, which I love, like, the stories behind things, so I find this fascinating. But it's a big damn book. Okay, so this particular book is 1,148 pages long. So I'm going to be reading short stories in between other books. And if you don't know H.G. Wells, which you probably do, let's be realistic here. A lot of these books people already know the author. He's kind of like the father of science fiction, really. You know, The Time Machine. We've all seen or heard of The Time Machine, the film or the book. And that's what this is from. Right now on to 13. Priory of the Orange Tree. Why am I picking big books? I returned, I accidentally left my door open. Oh well. Priory of the Orange Tree. Another big book, because apparently I have a thing for picking big books. The House of Berethnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabran IX must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are creeping closer to her door. Ede Durian is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ede keeps a watchful eye on Sabran, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the dark sea, Tane has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. So this big book is about dragons, war, and women. Wyverns, war, and women. There we go. But, are they dragons or are they wyverns? I have questions, like, the dragons in Skyrim are actually wyverns, which I'm going to be playing again. I'm very excited. See, I didn't want to play Skyrim on PS4, slight deviation, because I need Inigo, my follower mod. He is beautiful. He is brilliant. What have I done without him in my life, you know? But, I'm always down for dragon riders. I mean, we've got Aragon. The Road. Okay, so I'll be back in a second. So, I specifically put this book in my little cauldron mug because my Beirito, my sun and stars, mood of my life, my reason for living, has a tattoo from a quote of this book on her back. And I know she loves this book because she loves her tragic books. Like, I recommend good books to her, and she's like, oh no, I want sad ones that... And she's like, oh no, I want sad ones that crush my soul. So, I'll get into what's just happened in a second, but, she likes books that crush her soul, and she's got that quote on her back, so I figured I'd read this and have my soul crushed too. Essentially, it's a father and son through post-apocalyptic America, but I'm sure Beirito could give you a much more in-depth review of it if you'd like. So, what just happened was, you probably heard the doorbell. My mother called me, and I was like, okay, may as well go and get this thing. Because she said, book for you, and I'm just there like, what are the odds? I ordered this book, because I completely forgotten about it. I was like, did you buy it for me? And she's like, no, you bought it for you. And I was like, well, shit. Oh, sorry, Pudge, do you want to come up? And what are the odds that this book, hello Pudge, that I bought over a month ago would turn up, I know there are things on the bed, would turn up today while I'm filming this. This has just arrived. Go away, post package. So this is a book of Beetles. Don't ask me why. I just thought it'd be interesting. Oh my god, this one comes from America as well. It's got like, it's from the Illinois Library. So this goes through some of the more kind of famous beetles, like the Colorado beetle and stuff that I can't pronounce. The Death Watch beetle, whose tapping sounds, contrary to superstitious belief, is simply a mating call. The scarab, worshipped in ancient times. So essentially it's a book about beetles. and all the different types, and it's kind of really cool. I'm actually really excited about this book. When is this from? It's old. 1964. Oh god, it's almost as old as me. Another impromptu ad. Like, I'm really excited about this though. Like, it's got some beautiful illustrations of Beetles. How cute that beetle is. So that's another one added. But this is more kind of educational than anything. So that's my number 13 sorted, huh? Yeah, my cat's just surrounded by books at this point. Do you want to pick one? Okay, I'll give you... Okay, I picked out 2 random ones. Let's pick one, this one and this one. You want this one? Okay. My cat has picked this one. And this is Fahrenheit 451. This is another one you probably heard about, Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury is the author who also wrote The October Country. It's kind of a very socio-political book. And the blurb reads, Guy Montag is a fireman. His job is to destroy the most illegal of all commodities, the printed book, along with the homes in which they are hidden. Montag never questions his orders to destroy and to ruin, returning each day to his bland life and his wife Mildred, who is content to spend all day with her television family. But then Montag meets Clarice, who shows him a past where people didn't live in fear, and a present where the world can be seen through ideas and books and not just the screen of a television. And he begins to question everything he's ever known. So it's quite a famous book. You know, you've probably heard of it, not to be confused with Orwell's 1984. But I'm really looking forward to reading this as well. So we've got 1 book left, in theory, unless I feel like picking another one after that, considering I didn't really mean to add a book of Beetles, but it's now been added. Are you fucking kidding me? I just mentioned this one. 1984. 1984. Probably heard about this one as well. George Orwell is a legend. Also probably heard about him. But again, another kind of socio-political one. Hidden away in the record department of the sprawling Ministry of Truth, Winston Smith skillfully writes the past to suit the needs of the party. Oh, it's kind of like We Happy Few then, in a way. Yet he inwardly rebels against the totalitarian world he lives in, which demands absolute obedience and controls him through an all-seeing telescreens and the watchful eye of Big Brother, symbolic head of the party. In his longing for truth and liberty, Smith begins a secret love affair with a fellow worker, Julia, but soon discovers the true price of freedom is betrayal. Ooh, yeah, that's kind of like We Happy Few vibes, you know? That's 15, including the manga series. So that's all of them. Let me know if you've enjoyed this. I'm always happy to do more book-orientated content, especially if it's kind of like photography book-orientated content, or even just photography. I like stuff. I have loads of interests, so let me know if this is kind of interesting to you. Please check out Jo's channel if it's the kind of content that interests you, and send her some love. She's absolutely wonderful, and like, I don't know what I'd do without her. I'm also doing a story time video, a medical story time, in which she features, because she's everything to me. Like, I'm not even joking, she's beautiful. I hope you all have a lovely day, and stay safe. Toodle pip.